Hey everyone, it's Cheryl. I want to start out before I go ahead and I'm going to be adding this on to the video that I did for my third collaboration with Gareth to explain to you why my video hasn't been up yet and apologize to you for the fact it's not. I talked to Gareth and I told him what was going on and he was very kind and understanding, so thank you, Gareth. As a lot of you, some of you know, I work with the developmentally disabled, and I just got my job not quite 2 months ago. And when you work in these agencies, you have to be able to pass a test and a course to be able to distribute medication to people. And that's state required, so that's, you know, not even the agency I'm with, it's the state requires this. And normally, these courses are held in October, and I had told Gareth I was going to do this collaboration months ago, and September came and I thought, well, no problem, we'll have this done. And then about a week and a half ago they popped it on us that we were going to be having this med course because they'd hired so many new people. They decided to do it early because October is usually one of the months they do it in. And so I was studying like crazy to be able to pass this med course, and I don't know if I have. The test was last night and I took it, and I won't know until Monday. If I don't pass it, I have one more chance to take it, and if I don't pass that, I'm not going to be employed with this agency because it's you have to do this. So I have been busy studying that and studying, and I'm hoping that I'm going to do okay on this. A lot of people out there, my friends on Facebook, really have a lot of confidence in me, and I want to thank each and every one of you for that. I also see by going onto YouTube to my channel that I have a lot of new subscribers, and I would like to welcome you all. Usually I'm not this disorganized in my videos, but this was something that I had to do. I had no choice, and it's a 20-hour med course, and there were days when I'd work 10 hours at my job and then go spend another 6 hours at this med course. So, and then there's all the studying, you know, in between, and daily life, and about all I can say is I am sorry. From the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. I did not get this up sooner. Also, today I went up to see my oldest daughter because she's moving to Omaha, and I knew this was coming too, and I've just been under a lot of pressure with the med course, a lot of stress, because I've never lived that far away from her before, and I mean, it's basically like 3.5 hours maybe, but there was something about having her 20 miles away that just made it all seem okay, you know, whether I saw her a lot or not, because she's a very busy person. I'm happy for her and her husband, and I wish them well, but as a mom, there's a little selfish part of me that's like, don't let my baby go. So I've been under quite a bit of stress with all this going on also. So anyway, without anything further, I hope you enjoy collaboration number 3 now that it's finally up. And again, I am very, very sorry. Hi everyone, it's Cheryl, and this is the third and final of my collaboration with Gareth of G's Creations. What we're going to be doing, because I've got a lot of stuff going on right now, such as a med course, that I have to pass it in order to get to have my job. Let's put it that way. It's state required. So my project is probably going to be a little bit lame, and probably some of you have already done these. I found this on Pinterest, and the original they had done out of orange print scrapbooking paper, which was really super cute, but Gareth and I were doing old book pages, so in keeping with that, I did mine out of old book pages, and I'm going to show you how I did it. But this is what I did. It's a little paper pumpkin, and I thought it turned out just cute. And on this one I used old Reader's Digest condensed books. I inked the edges, cut out a little leaf, twisted up another piece of the paper, and then just shaved the edge off of the book page to make a little vine to go on my pumpkin. And so this is what we're going to be making. They're quick, they're easy, and they would be a great project for kids. So, and like the ones done in the scrapbooking paper, they were so cute. But keeping with the book page theme, that's what we're doing. Now on the last one I did a book page, and this time I did old sheet music. The sheet music was in a booklet, of course, like it comes, so therefore I figured close enough to a book. So what I did was, when I started, I cut out, now the other one I cut out more. I think I have 16 pieces that I cut out. This one I'm only doing 12. And what I did was, I took the book page, or in this case the oh, it's not even coming, music sheet page, and I traced a CD. Now if you had a circle cutter, this would be fantastic. But I don't have a circle cutter, so I mean you could turn out a ton of them with a circle cutter, but I didn't, so I traced a CD and I cut them out with scissors the hard way. Well, the ones I saw online, they'd cut the bottom flat so their little pumpkins would, you know, stand up. And I thought about just cutting it off with scissors, but that leads to, you know, kind of uneven edges if you're not really good precise cutting with scissors, and I'm not. So what I did was I laid mine in my paper cutter and I just put one part of the circle up against that flat part where, you know, that you would put the flat edge of your paper. I don't need a kitty's help. And then I just put the part I wanted to cut off, I put it over to the left side of the right side of the paper cutter on a 1/2 inch. And that works out really, really well. That's what I did with the other pumpkin I made, and that's what I'm going to do with this one. Once you get that done, what you want to do is line up your straight edge and your other edges, and you want to just crease and fold. So you have this. And your fold will go to the outside of your pumpkin. Or the outside, well, the outside right now. It'll become the inside, but you'll see what I mean. Okay, and then what you want to do is just want to take glue, and you can use any type you want. If you're going to make a lot of them, I'd probably use something more like Elmer's, simply because it's cheaper than tacky glue. But I couldn't find my Elmer's. I can't find it, like everything of mine. And then I just started by gluing the half circles together, making sure that the folded edge of each one is lined up as close to perfect as I can get it. And then I just kind of, you know, just pressed it down to get my glue to take hold. I used a Reader's Digest condensed book for that other pumpkin, and it was an older one, and the pages are somewhat thick, and they were yellowed, and they looked really cool. This music paper is a little thinner, so I'm curious to see, and I say I didn't get that one folded exact, so we're going to redo that. And creasing is very important. You want to have a pretty good crease on those when you're doing them. So again, I'm just taking it, laying it on top, and lining it up. Just going to push it down a little bit so that the glue will stick the pieces together. And I'm just going to keep doing that until I have all of my pieces glued together. Just like so. Just trying to keep the folded edges lined up as much as possible. Now with the sheet music, it's double-sided, and this came out of a book, so there were different songs, you know, in the book together. And I just glued the opposite side of what I've been gluing, but that doesn't matter because we can just flip it over. And they had different, you know, the notes on them were different and everything. You know, some songs had a lot of notes and some songs were simpler. And what I thought was really cool, I don't know if you can see it here, but whoever had this sheet music made their own notes, you know, on the music. Some of them have numbers put on them and such, so that, you know, obviously something they needed to know when they were playing the music. So I thought that was really cool. The book was copyrighted in 1940, and it was not in good shape. Some of the pages were torn, the covers were gone. And, you know, I don't like to destroy anything vintage because, I mean, let's face it, you know, when it's gone, it's gone. And so I don't like to do that. But this sheet music, I got a bunch of it for 10 cents a booklet at the Wise Buy store, which is the YMCA store, thrift store, and I was so happy to find it. And especially I was happy to find it in not so good condition, because I don't like to destroy, you know, anything that's truly vintage. And I just thought that, you know, and when I went through these, I selected which side I wanted to show on these, because, you know, the more interesting pieces, a few of the plainer ones, you know, just what I want to show on my pumpkin when it's opened up and I fan my pages out, because I thought that would add a lot of interest to it. And like I said, I cut 12 for this one. I think I did 16 on the book page one that I did, that I showed you. So, you know, and the more you make, the more pages you do, the more full your pumpkin is going to be. Or you can have one that's a little more sparse, like this one's going to be. It's really up to you. And that is the cool part. You can make it however you would like, and use whatever you would like. Okay, I have 2 to go. Wow, cool. I'm getting there. Oops, glue's sticking to the paper, or to the glue bottle. So again, just trying to line these edges up, and they won't be perfect, but nothing's perfect, no one's perfect, so it's all good. But just try to get it as close as possible. And you'll want to go out to the edges of this, and so it is important when, after you've got it all glued together, and like especially if you're using a glue like Elmer's, where it's a more liquid glue, what you want to do, and I'm just going to cap this, or it's going to run all over, is you want to go through and you want to separate your pages. So here at the end you'll have a single piece, and then you'll have 2 glued together. And see, this is what I was talking about. Isn't that interesting? That is so cool. And then you want to separate them, because no matter how careful you are, a little bit of glue is going to seep out these edges and it's going to stick your pages together. I've noticed with the Elmer's, in experimenting with other things, that as wet as the Elmer's is, sometimes your whole page will stick together. So it's important to do this right after you get done. See, I've got 2 right here that are sticking, as you can see. And I'm going to pull those apart, because I don't want them stuck together. And here again it's happened. And that's simply because it is so hard to control your glues. I'm just going to pull these apart. See, here's one. I don't know if you can see it, but that's what I was talking about. Someone had made notations on the music sheets, and I think that's kind of cool, because that's the person who owned these. That's the person who played this music. And to me, that's just really awesome. It's like a little bit of personal, someone's personal life right here in my hands, being made into a paper pumpkin. So, yeah. And it will still stick for a little while yet, until the glue is completely dry. So every once in a while in the course of your project, you might want to go through and just, you know, touch your pages and see if they're sticking, and if they're sticking, just, you know, pull them apart again. But as you can see, this one is already fanning itself out into the shape of my little paper pumpkin. So, and I've actually had a better time with this one doing this than with the other one. Alright, when you get to this point where you've got everything glued and it's set up a little bit, and mine isn't set up enough, but for the sake of the video, what you want to do is you have these 2 single pieces. You want to glue those together to make one more, to make one more double page. I call them pages. Because they are kind of like pages. You can kind of flip through it when you get them all glued together, like a little booklet. And what you want to do when you do this is, now you're going to have this part right here that we matched up as close as we could. What you want to do, though, is you want to move your pages past that and really line them up good so that everything matches up. Do not glue along that edge where the folds are, because that it will mess up everything, trust me. And then just push that down, of course, and I've noticed with these, depending on the thickness of your paper, you kind of have to work with them to get your shape. They don't always want to just puff out and go round. And part of that is that will happen if you glue that center part, because you won't get, it will stick where you don't want it to, and it's not pretty. I've done it. But live and learn by my mistakes. That's why I'm here, right? To help you make yours so that you don't have those problems. Because I went ahead and discovered them first. So now I'm just fanning my pages out again, and still my edges are sticking because my glue is not near as dry as it should be, and I would suggest letting it dry, you know, pretty good before, you know, starting the rest of it. Alright, so basically that's the paper pumpkin. Now what I did was, I took, and this was just a piece of the sheet music paper, and I crumpled it until it was really soft because I want to twist it into the stem. And I have too much, and I also went over this with the walnut stain distress ink. And what I'm going to do is just tear off what I think I might need. And I surely don't need this much, so not for my stem. I'm not going to have it be that big. So I'm just tearing that off. But as you can see, this paper is, I've broken a lot of the fibers, and now it's kind of like cloth. Much easier to deal with. Before I go any further, I am going to use some vintage photo distress ink, and I'm going to go around the edges of mine. You can see a little bit. I could not find a pencil, so I did mine in pen, and you can see a little bit of the pen marks. Not bad, but, and I tried to keep those to the inside, but I guess some of these pages were just way too interesting to hide by gluing them together, and so therefore and not thinking before I did it, I ended up with some pen marks. And what is it Amy says over at May Made It? Something about a little distress ink will hide a multitude of sins. And you know what? She's right. Distress ink is amazing. It will hide a lot. So I'm just going to go, and you could ink these before you put it together. I just happen to like the stability that having it glued, you know, having the two pages glued together gives me, as opposed to a more, almost saved it, excuse me, almost saved that one, as opposed to having a more, you know, thinner, more floppy piece of paper. My brother came over, I think it was yesterday, handed me an old book. This book's from, I think it's 1908, and it's some, I don't even remember what it's called. But the book itself, the poor thing, is in very bad shape. It's got some water spots on it, and the cover and binding are ripped and stuff. And he's like, well, here's an old book if you want it, otherwise I'm throwing it out. And I'm like, well, how old is it? And he read it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, that's really old. That's over 100 years old. And he's like, yeah, but he goes, look at it. And we got to look at it. He showed it to me. And there's some usable pages in it. And like I said, normally I would never, ever do that to any vintage book or anything like that. But given the fact that this one is in pretty bad shape, I'm probably going to end up using it for some projects, so I think that's going to be just so much fun. Using those type of pages in a junk journal or something like that, it'd be just great. Vintage with real vintage. So, but yeah, if it hadn't been in such terrible condition, I would have saved it, because like I said, it's over 100 years old, you know, it's like 107 years old. It's pretty cool. Well, at least that was the copyright, it was 1908, so. And I'm not really, you know, caring too much how I ink these edges. I don't care if there's more on one page or less, or, you know, just so there's some ink around the edges, because I really like that more primitive, natural, kind of rustic look. I like that, as you can see by my little Christmas tree that I did. And you know, I know there's only 12 pages here, but right now, I don't know about you guys, but when I ink, sometimes I get so tired of inking. I thought this was a particularly interesting page and made sure that I had this part showing, just because there's so many music notes there. And you know, I can play by ear a lot of different things, you know, and I did try to I took some guitar lessons when I was in junior high school, but I'm not by any means good at it. And as for reading actual music like this, I got the concept, but it takes me, I have to sit down and decipher it because I guess I'm just not, I guess it was never my thing. I tried band, but did not like the instrument I got forced to play because my parents wanted me to play it. My brother was lucky. He got to play an orchestra. That's what I wanted. Oh no, I couldn't do that. I had to play in band. And then they give you something like the clarinet of all things, which is not my favorite instrument. I wanted drums if I had to play in band. Saxophone would have been great, you know. So my kids went in band. My oldest daughter's like, I want to play the saxophone. It's like, okay, you're playing the saxophone, because, yeah. And she's very good, and she played in the community band up in Brookings, South Dakota, where she lived up until tomorrow when they moved to Omaha. And she looked around, well, I guess she knew somebody, and she plays the baritone sax, big one. And she played that in high school, and she wanted one of her own so bad, and she got one. But then she met this other person, and she's kind of been after this person for, it's been a while now, because they had a 1924 Buescher Big Bell Fairy Sax, beautiful car etchings on it, a gorgeous horn. This thing was, it's, you know, for being 1924, this thing is in a very, very, very good condition, and the sound quality is so awesome compared to these newer ones. And that is her pride and joy, and I'll tell you what, I've never seen anybody so happy in my life. But she kept asking this person, you know, and they had thought about selling it, and she finally was able to get it. So I was so happy for her, and she got it. You know, those horns are very, very expensive, and especially an antique one. But she got it at a really super price. So I was so excited for her when she got it, because she'd wanted one. She played one, and the school had one. And then they sold it or something when they redid their music department, or they got a new band director or something like that. We stopped clawing on stuff. And so she was, you know, because if they had sold it and it had sold for a decent price, you know, she would have, I'm sure, bid on it, or, you know, tried to buy it. And my other daughter, Sarah, ended up quitting band because she played valve trombone, which you don't see a lot of valve trombones anymore. Okay, I'm taking my leaf now, and I've already inked that, and I've just kind of put some glue on the back because I want it to stick to the top of my pumpkin. And I'm just kind of sticking the leaf down into that middle part because I have a very small opening there, so I just kind of stuck the leaf down into that, and I'm gluing that now. And you can put on more than one leaf if you wanted, or you wouldn't even have to put a leaf on. Either way works. And now I'm just taking this piece here where, and I'm just kind of folding it and scrunching it up because I'm just going to twist it to get the shape for my stem. I'm not picky at all what my stem comes out like because, as I've said, I like the rustic, I like the primitive, especially when working with paper items. And so I just kind of put it together, and I'm just going to stick a little glue here and there to kind of hold it a little better. Because when you twist this thick of a piece of paper, it doesn't always want to hold. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue on there. And I'm just trying to flatten out the end that's going to glue up against my pumpkin, because the other one I had more pages, so I had a bigger hole in the middle. And I was able to kind of stick it down in. This one I'm not going to be able to, so it's just going to have to glue up on top. So, and I'm just going to position that over the part of my leaf where and you know, you could sure do your stem and your leaf any way you want. This is just me and how I'm doing mine. Hey, what are you knocking down in there? Oh my gosh. They're so naughty. Why do they think they have to be in trouble? But yeah, you could do yours any way you wanted to. And I'm just putting a little more glue on because it does not want to stay twisted. And it's kind of cool because my stem kind of curls just a little bit, but not a lot. And then for the end of my project, I just take this, and this is a little longer than I want it. Just gonna take my fingers and break off that little bit there, and I'm gonna glue it to the inside of it because I'm kind of gonna wrap it around my stem. And I'm just gonna kind of get that end and kind of just bend it a little bit. Ah, I've got it sticking to me. I mean, you could use hot glue on these if you wanted, but I think I'll just go with this. And just hang my little stem off there, kind of. And there you have another little paper pumpkin. So yes, they're very simple and cute and fun to make, and like I said, I'm betting the kids would love a project like this. You could use construction paper, scrapbook paper, old book pages, whatever you want to use. And they're just cute. They're simple, they're very simple, but they're very, very cute. Now, this is what I was going to show you. I'd gone on Pinterest and I found this amazing lady named Amanda who made these awesome ornaments on the same order. However, she did a honeycomb pattern. Well, I had a lot of trouble with this, so I decided not to show it to you. But I'm going to be working on these, and hopefully before Christmas, I'm going to get a video up where I can tell you exactly how I did these. This one turned out okay, but it didn't turn out like it's not. There's a lot wrong with this one, and there was a lot wrong in the process I used. So I'm going to be working on these, and hopefully by Christmas or before Christmas, I'll get it all figured out. And you know, you could even honeycomb your pumpkin. She called it honeycomb because it has the... And you could even do that with your pumpkins if you wanted. But anyway, that's it. I am again very sorry I did not get this video up a lot sooner. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you'll try one of these cute but very simple little paper pumpkins. Okay, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.